These kids were just kids. That's just it. They spent their adult life. They grew up in prison for something that they didn't even do.
Don't wanna play with you, baby, I just wanna stay with you, yeah. Like maybe run away with you, girl, I just wanna stay with you, yeah.
Hey loves, I'm Kristina Spicer, founder of The Other Side. Thank you so much for tuning in to Feel Good Friday. I'm so happy that you're here. The story that I'm going to be talking about this week is the amazing work of Miss Ava DuVernay's When They See Us. When They See Us is the mini-series documentary on Central Park 5. It debuted on Netflix last week. Now, since this is the last time that I'm going to use that name to describe these men, and I'm actually going to look at my phone a little bit more often in this episode so that I can get the facts right for you guys. The men involved in this case, their names are Korey Wise, Yusef Salaam, Antron McCray, Raymond Santana, and Kevin Richardson. Now, what happened was they were wrongly accused of raping a woman in Central Park back in 1989. They were just boys playing in the park, and somehow they got caught up with the police and were arrested, and when they were brought in for questioning, these prosecutors forced them into testifying against something that they didn't do. And from then on, their lives changed forever. They spent 5 to 12 years in prison. They were just 14 to 16 years old. The oldest one, Korey Wise, was 16, and he had to be tried as an adult. So he didn't even get into a juvenile detention center. And so you guys, this story is so heartbreaking on so many levels. These kids were just kids. That's just it. They spent their adult life. They grew up in prison for something that they didn't even do. This story, When They See Us, I've seen so many people tweet that it's so hard to get through and that they don't even watch it, but you guys, please, please, please watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say that it's not emotional. I cried from the very beginning, and at the end of it, I was done. I was crying like a baby. But it's so important. I'm so happy that I know more about this so that I can now educate my kids or somebody else on this, and so that people know, like, even as a Black woman, how to operate in this world, which is sad. This is something that happened in 1989, but it still goes on now in 2019. So it really makes you want to open your eyes and really do what you can to prevent anything like this from happening or going further, you know, to at least do your part in some way, shape, or form. And you can't really do anything if you don't know about it. So I encourage you guys to go watch this, and it's so beautifully done. I'm so happy. I tweeted this earlier that Ava DuVernay was led to tell this story. The fact that she said yes, and the fact that she executed it in such a well put together, beautiful way. I applaud you. So in 2012, which is 12 years after the boys were found guilty, they were exonerated. And the city of New York settled with the 5 wrongly convicted men for $41 million. I guess you could say that this is the light at the end of the tunnel, and I can only imagine that this in no way, shape, or form, no amount of money can replace the emotional trauma that they had to go through. But I know that it helps in some sense, so I'm happy that some form of justice was served. I have heard too that there were no apologies made, that they just, you know, exonerated them and gave them the money, but they never once apologized to these men for taking away their childhood and even their adult life. So once again, I'm happy that someone like Ava DuVernay, Oprah, everybody that was involved sat down and was like, we are going to tell this story because it is necessary. Now, I'm going to leave you guys off with the quote like I usually do, and it's by Miss Ava DuVernay herself, and it says, "There's something about storytelling. I believe in that power, whether it's 13th or middle of nowhere or when they see us, that folks start to shift what they think about the criminal justice system." Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys like what you saw and want to see more feel-good, positive stories in entertainment and the community, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Bye.